And we'll do it live. We'll do it live. Okay, we got an update on this gal we got an update on the white mom who had to, who was attacked by a gang of Somalian pirates in Minnesota at the park. So the mom who was holding the baby that got attacked by the Somalian pirates in the park. I was back on Twitter. I was on Twitter back then. I'm not allowed on Twitter anymore. But anyway, she just made an appearance and she talked about what happened and how she's basically been having to flee and get away from Minnesota. And this is why, like, people go, Brian, why do you waste your time on YouTube and posting about all this stuff? Because of this shit, right? See, here's what I'm trying to say. You might say, why do you waste your time posting about? Why do you waste my time? Why are you wasting my time? Why are you wasting my time by allowing this to happen? See, I'm not. If you look at who's the problem in this situation, it's not me. Okay, I'm not the problem. I'm the one saying you should do something about it. I'm trying to do something about it. See, are you doing something about it? Are you doing something about it? You should do something about it instead of going along with it. I'm coming up with all these different ideas, okay? I'm coming up with this idea. I'm coming up with that idea. I'm coming up with this idea. What the hell is everybody else doing? Nothing. Nothing. That's what pisses me off. That's what pisses me off. Everybody else does nothing. They just watch it happen. Now, I shouldn't say everybody because they raised a lot of money for this girl, which is good. They raised a lot of money for this girl, which is good because she's having to flee. Was my volume up too high? Am I yelling? I'm yelling. Well, that's for sure. I'm certainly yelling. Is my volume too high? She has to flee Minnesota, right? Here's a mom, a white American mom has to flee Minnesota because not just because of the Somalian pirates, but because of the government in Minnesota, which is run by a Catholic named Tim Waltz. But let's listen to her first.
And kind of the aftermath of the park situation. Also, some concerns that have been brought to my attention. There are a lot of people who think that this has all been a scam, that I haven't been getting my money, and that it's not going to me. I have gotten every dime of my money. It's all gone to me. Nobody has asked me for any money. So there's that. Rest assured, all the money has gone to me. When this first started, I had a handful of people helping me out. Anglo-Saxon Girl, Tom Hennessy, Paul Miller, and Obsterbone, Avi. And they really just were kind of guiding me through this time and promoting my fundraiser and getting the word out there about everything that was going on. So I am forever grateful for all of them for that. And then the Avi thing happened where he got fired from his job and uploaded a video and started his own fundraiser. That had nothing to do with myself and the rest of the people that were involved. As soon as we found out the truth about all of that, I severed ties with him immediately. I am not married to him. I don't know him. I've never met any of these people. So I just want to shut that down right now. Yeah. When I first found out that the park video was going viral, it was terrifying, but not surprising because obviously he was recording me. It was going to get out there at some point. I did not realize I was going to have so much support and have all of you people rally around me and have my back in this situation. And it was very overwhelming. And I am so grateful for you all for that. When this first happened and I went on X and I saw Anglo-Saxon Girl had posted my video, I messaged her and I was like, hey, that's me. Just kind of needing somebody like-minded to talk to. And of course, she didn't know it was me, so we went through the whole process of, proving who I was. And that's when we kind of got the whole fundraiser started and set up. And yeah, the rest of that is history. I also just want to say how proud I am of everybody and just showing what can happen if we tribe up and if we stick together and if we keep fighting back. Our future, our existence depends on standing up for ourselves and not backing down. And we just have to keep on going. There's no other option. I mean, what else are we going to do? You can't be afraid of words. Don't be afraid of the people who are so fragile to a word. I am just so thankful for you all. We are in the process of looking for a home. We have looked at some, getting out of the state and starting a new life. And I want to have a quiet life. I don't plan on being an influencer. I don't plan on doing interviews. Like, that's just not something that I would ever want to do. It's not on my agenda. So maybe someday, but I don't foresee it happening anytime soon. We're all doing okay. We've been moving around a lot. It's been an adventure. It's fun to see new places and, you know, been kind of an outlaw. Again, I just want to say that I am so grateful for all of my supporters and all of my people who have been with me through all of this. And yeah, I haven't said anything on here. I haven't done any sort of videos or spoke to anybody really. So I felt like it was about time to clear the air and just kind of, you know, keep you updated with what's going on. And yeah, so I just want to say thank you, everyone. And I will talk to you later.
In other words, a normal person, a normal American girl has to flee Minnesota because it's infested with Somali pirates. Now, here's the other part of this video that I want to make very clear to everybody, is that I have a lot of Facebook friends and different people on the internet, and I know everything there is to know about the Jewish mafia. Believe me, I know everything there is to know about the Jewish mafia. But what I'm telling you is it's almost gotten to the point where it's kind of a distraction, because the real problem is the Romans. And I'm not just saying that for no reason. And I never believed this myself. I never believed it. My friend Jordan Maxwell used to tell me this, and I'm like, the Romans? What does that have to do with anything? Look, I have to belabor this because people don't get it, dude. Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, is a Catholic. This is a network of Catholics that are bringing in this system to enslave and kill you. That's what I'm saying. Tim Walz is a Catholic. Joe Biden's a Catholic. Kamala Harris went to a Jesuit school. I don't know what religion she is, but she's basically a Jesuit-trained operative. This whole thing is Catholic. Zelensky just met with the Pope. J.D. Vance just met with the Pope. Donald Trump just met with the Pope. Everybody's meeting with the Pope. The Pope is the center. When you see what's going on in when you see what's going on in Ukraine with the war between Ukraine and Russia, that's a proxy for the Pope to attack Russia, just like they did in 1917. The Pope uses Jews to attack Russia. The Pope uses Jews to attack Russia. The Pope uses Somalians to attack you in Minnesota. The Pope uses BLM to attack you on the streets of America. The Pope uses the LGBT groups to do whatever they're doing, to lobby, to control certain parts of the government. The Pope uses the unions to control America and control the politicians and get their politicians in. It's the Pope. The Jew stuff with the Jews, like on the radio, the Zionists, that's real. That's real. That's their thing. They're just obsessed with Israel. But that's like a thing that's part of it, because if you notice all the big Catholics in the media, they all support Israel. Look, if you look at the Washington D.C., it's Catholics and Jews, Catholics and Jews. It's Catholics and Zionist Jews, and it's left-wing Catholics and liberal Jews who are also Zionists, but they're just not as Zionist. And then there's right-wing Jews with right-wing Catholics, conservative Catholics. So it's Catholics and Jews. Anytime you have a government that has a left and a right, which is conservative and liberal, That's Catholicism. It's nothing. That's the Roman Catholic system. It's nothing else. And so I want you to hear what Tim Waltz says. Listen to Tim Waltz. Listen to Tim Waltz. Okay, listen to Tim Waltz. I got to play this for you. Tim Waltz. He just said this the other day. Listen to this. Tim Waltz videos. So here's Tim Waltz. Listen to Tim Waltz. Hold on a second. You have to understand how you're getting screwed, or you're not going to be able to get out of this. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Brian, why do you go on and on about? Because you're not fixing it. So I have to keep saying it over and over again. God, I hate my computer. So annoying. The computer is so effing annoying, dude. So effing annoying. Okay, here we go. So slow, and you got all these commercials. It's just going to ruin everything. God. Listen, here's why I'm so frustrated. People aren't getting it, so I just have to keep repeating myself over and over and over again. Let me see if I can get Tim Waltz to talk here. Okay, I have to go to YouTube. So annoying. This computer sucks. And my computer sucks on top of it. So not only is it super annoying, but my computer sucks. Tim Waltz is Catholic.
Am I still able to get a student loan or a...
Okay, let's skip ahead. We got to find out. Tim Waltz did this video. Oh God, where is it? Oh my God. Look, here's what I'm trying to tell you. Tim Waltz is Catholic. And if you spend all your time worrying about Jews, then you're going to miss the whole point. You're not going to get out of this. Here's Tim Waltz. This is a commercial.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense, not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye. Just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. To be clear, there's no way for us to know whether they were actually criminals or not, because they refused to give them a trial. We're supposed to just take their word for it. And when duly elected members of Congress tried to exercise their constitutional right of oversight at an ICE facility, they get shoved around and threatened with arrest. And when courts told them repeatedly to knock it off, they brazenly defied.
See, he's Catholic. You got to understand what I'm telling you. He's Catholic. Tim Waltz is Catholic. And he supports a Catholic agenda of the Pope. Steve Bannon's also a Catholic. And you're like, but I like Steve Bannon. I think I like Steve Bannon too. I agree with a lot of what Steve Bannon says. But you have to understand is he's there to bring you right back into Washington, D.C. in a loop. Kind of like Emmanuel Goldstein, but not as dramatic. Right? They give you a leader that you're going to agree with, and then he brings you right back into the system. That's Steve Bannon. But you have to understand the agenda of Rome is Tim Waltz. The agenda of Rome is Tim Waltz. It is Tim Waltz. It's nothing else but Tim Waltz. It's Tim Waltz. It's Bernie Sanders. It's Nancy Pelosi. It's Joe Biden. Okay. The agenda of the Pope is Joe Biden. Okay. Do you understand that? And it's the agenda of the Pope is Tim Waltz. So they don't care that these people are flooding into your country and displacing you and making it harder for you to live, because they're going to give them all the jobs and all the protection, all the money and all the government defense, because they're going to be agents of the Pope and the Pope's leadership, like Tim Waltz. The whole thing is designed to steal your country and take from you by bringing foreign populations into the country and then protecting them while they're here against you. So there's two things you can do. You can either defeat them and then completely dismantle their operation, or you have to leave that system and form something else. Those are your two choices, but you have to do one or the other. Otherwise, you're not going to get out. You either have to defeat them to the point where they're totally dismantled and they're not functioning, which means there is no more Roman Catholic Church operating politically in the United States at all, anywhere. and all of their little minions are shipped back to the countries they came from, and they don't get a hearing, they don't get a court, they don't get anything. They get deported. Okay. And then all the political leaders that they were using against you now don't have any minions to work for them. So now they lose everything. In fact, they should be in prison, or they should be sent to Rome to go live with the Pope. That's another idea. Just send them all to Rome, send everybody to Rome to go live at the Vatican. Okay. And if you can't do that, if you can't dismantle their network, then you're going to have to make something else. You're going to have to abandon that in favor of something else. But here's the problem. Nobody knows to do that, and they don't know how to do that because they think it's the Jews doing everything. And every time they go and they find, and I understand the Jewish mafia. I'm the one that told everybody about the Jewish mafia since around 2000, since the 1990s when I discovered the Jewish mafia in the 1990s. And I started telling everybody about, I'll tell you a little secret. One time, I can't tell you the secret. I just happened to notice that I had a friend, let's put it this way. I had a friend that used to tell me about the pharmaceutical companies and how they were selling drugs that were really dangerous and made people crazy and made people kill each other and made people commit suicide and did all these things, right? And they were super dangerous. They made people addicted. They made people go nuts. They made people into complete psychopathic maniacs. And you can see these were being promoted all over the place all the time. And that's a big reason why since the 90s until now, the civilization has been totally decimated. Drugs were at the forefront of that. So they were right. I mean, it was all destroyed. But they used to tell me that that the people writing everything were like the Nazis. These are just like the Nazis, right? And so I started to. So one time I found out that there was this clinic where they were like testing these dangerous drugs on people in Irvine. So I decided I'd go down there and protest it just by myself, willy nilly. I just like, I'm going to drive over there and tell those people to F off, because I kept hearing these commercials on the radio about come in and do the testing, right? You figure you're testing dangerous drugs on moms and dads, and how are they going to? You got to say, I've seen what happens to drug addicts' kids and how they get neglected, and then how they don't have anything to eat, and how they don't have any clothes to wear, and how the mom's running around sleeping with different people to try to get money for drugs. You think I've seen it. I saw what happened to my country. I saw what happened to my population. I watched it happen. Okay. I hate what they've done. And so you have to understand. So I watched this, right? And so then I noticed, I'm telling you why this whole Jewish thing isn't a mystery to me, in other words. Anyway, I go to protest this thing, right? And everyone had told me that these were the Nazis doing this. And so I go to protest this thing, and the guy who runs the thing, he pulls up in the parking lot, and he gets out of his BMW, and he's got like a name tag on his shirt or something, because he's an official there. And I read his name, and it's a Jewish name. And I went, whoa, this guy's Jewish. And then I'm like, I thought this was all the Nazis doing this. No, it's not the Nazis. No, it's not the Nazis. So now when you see all the Jews everywhere, you start to think, oh my God, it's the Jews, right? And I did the same thing. I went, it's the Jews. And my friend Jordan Maxwell used to go, you think the Jews are bad? Go look at the Roman Catholic Church. And I'm like, they don't do anything. They just sit there and they just rub their beads. They're just rubbing. It's just a bunch of guys rubbing their beads together. Hey guys, let's go rub our bead. No, I don't want to say that. It's a bead rubbing club. It's a bunch of guys rubbing their beads, okay, in Rome, and I'm not part of that. So I don't want to have anything to do with that. So here's the thing. So I used to think, Jordan Maxwell, what are you talking about? Now that I've was able to look back through history, and the big thing that did it for me was when I realized what happened in America in 1773 and the establishment of Georgetown University. That's what started to make things not make sense to me anymore, because I had it all figured out. It's the Jews. And when I looked and said, wait a minute, You're telling me the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants overthrew the King of England and then it set up a Jesuit school with a bishop from Rome? Yes, that's exactly what happened. On land donated by the Pope in Maryland, which is now called the District of Columbia. Yes. See, and it took me a long time. That was the first time I remember thinking, what is this? See, it was this big anomaly that doesn't make sense. This is the thing I haven't been able to crack with all the anti-Semites on YouTube, not YouTube. Well, some of them are on YouTube, but whatever. Anti-Semites are people that are blaming the Jews or Zionism, right? Blame Jews and Zionism for their crimes all you want. I'm not going to stop you. What I'm saying is it's almost becoming a distraction. It's almost becoming, and on some level, it's designed to be a distraction by the CIA. See, if you want to fix this, you have to understand that the CIA uses that little loop of it's the Jews to deflect attention, and then literally the CIA does all these different things, and then they blame it on the Jews. And because you already suspect the Jews, you just eat it right up. Because you already suspect the Jews, the Jewish mafia, you then eat it right up, and then everything's Jews, 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 Jews. And then E. Michael Jones comes along and says, Mr. Bead Rubber comes along, the Roman bead rubber. Hey guys, join the Roman Catholic Church. And then Bead Rubber, woman-hating Bead Rubber, Nick Fuentes goes, hey guys, join the Catholic Church. And then Matt Walsh, the Bead Rubber, goes, hey guys, join and Candace Owens and everybody. So they're promoting the Roman Catholic Church, and then they're covering up that it's the Roman Catholic Church that's doing the whole thing. And they've got different proxies. They've got unions, they've got BLM, they've got Antifa, they've got LGBT groups, they've got the Jewish Mafia, they've got all these Jewish organizations, they've got the Anti-Defamation Leagues on board with their program. The World Jewish Congress is on board with their program. They're aligned perfectly. See, BLM is aligned, and ADL is aligned, and World Jewish Congress, they're all aligned to the Pope. The war in Ukraine is aligned to the Pope. It serves the Pope's interest. It's forwarding the agenda of Rome. The Romans have been at war with the East since the schism in 1054. But before that, as I've told you many times, when the Romans backed and established the Hasmonean dynasty, which is the Pharisees and the Sadducees that you know of in the story of Jesus Christ, that murder the Logos, murder the light at Golgotha, they were established by the Romans, and that's why they have a 9-candle menorah, because it's a Roman bullshit made up thing. It's not even the original Israelite religion. It's a bullshit Roman bullshit thing. That's why there's 9 candles, because it has nothing to do with Israel. Actually, it's just bullshit. And anyway, they were set up by the, and I'm sure they were the original priest class. Maybe they were the original priest class. Maybe they weren't. I don't know who they were. They were whoever the Romans picked. And I believe they said, well, these are the religious leaders. We'll pick them to run the anti-Greek revolt. And so that's the story of the Maccabees. And that's where you get the 9-candle menorah, which is Roman bullshit, right? So everybody practicing Hanukkah is practicing some Roman bullshit holiday, which is not part of the ancient Israelite tradition. And here's the point. The point is, the reason why your country is destroyed is because of the Roman agenda, and it's not being stopped. Trump doesn't even know about it. And he's not being told about it. No one's going to tell him. I'm trying to tell people because I can see it very clearly now. And the point that I'm trying to make is, yeah, you can see what all the Jewish groups are doing. You can see the Zionist Organization America. You can see the ADL. You can see these different Jewish people that are like saying horrible things about white people, and right. And then what happens is that's like a small percentage of the problem. And all the other people that are doing the exact same thing are Catholics, and they're actually supporting the religion through doing this, through doing this politically, through the media, through getting elected, through elected office, through working at the CIA, through working in the federal government, through joining and running these unions to get politicians elected. This is all Roman activity. So it's all based in Rome, and it comes through Washington, D.C., and through the unions and through the media. And it's all organized by Roman Catholics. And so what they do is when you notice that it's something you don't like, they say, well, you're an anti-Semite. And then because you keep getting called that, you're like, yeah, and these Jews, these ADL Jews are attacking me too. And then you're calling me an anti-Semite. Well, I guess I am, and it's because of the Jews. And then all you do is you go on and on and on and on and on endlessly about the Jews and how the Jews are behind everything. And the truth is, there have been Jewish groups working for the Vatican, or not necessarily for, but let's say with, in a syndicate where you have different groups working together. It's called a syndicate. And the Jewish Roman syndicate is the oldest one because it goes back to 140 BC. And that's why the Daily Wire has Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh, a Catholic and a Jew, and they have the same agenda, and they're conservatives. And you'll have the same thing on the left. There'll be a Catholic and there'll be Jews, and they'll all be working together because that's the system. Now, in a natural system, you'd have men and you'd have women. You wouldn't have liberals and conservatives. In a natural system, you would have a society based on men and women, nothing else. And the men would have a role in the society, and the women would have a role in the society, and it would function naturally instead of the Roman system, which is based on a pervert group in Rome of sodomites. I can't say too much because this is YouTube. They are sodomites who like to dress up and wear fancy outfits and rub their beads together. It's a bunch of guys that rub their beads together, and it's called Rome. And everybody goes there and worships them as if they're saints. They're the men that wear the dresses and rub the beads, and everybody goes there and tells them how great they are because they have some leverage that I don't really understand. I'll be honest with you. I do not understand how they have that leverage. I don't know. I don't know how they have that leverage, but they have leverage. They don't have that leverage against Russia. That's why they have Zelensky there to attack Russia, because they don't have that leverage against Russia. Now, let's get back to what's this video about. It's about a woman in a park being harassed by Somali pirates, by a gang of Somali pirates who use their kids to rob you. And then when you get upset and say a bad word, they put it on video so you get killed. And this is all organized by the Roman Catholic Church. That's the point. This is organized by the Roman Catholic Church, not by the Jews. It's organized by the Roman Catholic Church. The bead rubbing guys that wear dresses and dress up and play dress up together. See, of course it's them. Of course it's them. What is their leverage against the different governments of the world? I don't know. I don't have that answer. But I can see very clearly how these command channels work. So maybe we'll find that answer later. And the last thing I'll say is, additionally, is I need to do more Bible studies because I'm finding out that a lot of people who read the Bible are very confused about it. So we're going to do some more Bible studies. I think my next video will be a Bible study on the subject of the clarification of the ancient calendar, the ancient Akkadian Hebrew calendar, which I think I've finally nailed it down. And that's probably one of the most important things. Hi there, if you're watching. I'm about to close it up, but I will talk to you later.